Tell me this doesn't eat. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, I'm Vandal and welcome to this very clowny crochet tutorial! This is my first YouTube video, so I'm actually freaking out. I'm having a full circle moment right now. Anyway, in this video, I will show you how to crochet these very beautiful clown cuffs with 4 flags and these little like buttons or balls. This is a very beginner-friendly crochet pattern. It's really fun and it's quite a quick make. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is the material you will need for this pattern. First, you will need a 5mm crochet hook or any crochet hook that goes with your yarn. Then you will need your base yarn and your accent yarn. For me, those are both size 4 medium yarns that go with, you know, a 5mm crochet hook, but it can be any size of yarn that you have. This is a perfect opportunity to use your scrap yarn if you want. Next, you will need 2 hair ties. This is what is inside your clown cuffs and what keeps them secured. I recommend that you use a thinner hair tie if you have one, and a hair tie that is about the same color as your base yarn so that it will remain invisible. Obviously, you can use whatever you have on hand. I recommend that you use a thinner hair tie in comparison to a thick one because I find that thick ones like just cut your circulation and I find that you feel them a lot more. They can even get uncomfortable if you have bigger wrists. If you can, use thinner ones. However, if that's not possible for you, what you can do is just stretch them out as much as you can. That way they will be a bit more relaxed at least. Also, during the pattern, I will show you a little trick to adjust the size of your hair tie so that it fits more comfortably around your wrist and doesn't cut your circulation. I will show you this later on, it will make more sense when you crochet. You will also need scissors, a tapestry needle. Optionally, you can have jingle bells on the ends of your flags instead of the dots, or you can just use literally anything you have on hand to decorate your flags. Lastly, you will need a blocking mat and sewing pins because we will be blocking our clown cuffs when we're finished. I heavily recommend that you block them because it will make the flags a lot more stretchy and they will flop around a lot more. In my opinion, it creates a lot more of a fun accessory when they're blocked. These clown cuffs are made in 5 steps. First, we make a single crochet trim around the hair tie. Next, we will make all 4 flags, and then we will add an accent trim around each flag. Lastly, we will make the little dots and sew them onto the flags. And as a 5th optional step, we will block the clown cuff so that it's more stretchy and the fabric is just more floppy, if that makes sense. Alright, so we can get started now. Grab your hair tie, your hook, and your base yarn. To start, we will make a slip knot, like so, like that. And then you will put the hook inside or through the hair tie, and you will put the slip knot on your hook. Pull on each end to close the slip knot and make sure you're holding the working yarn. Pull that loop kind of through your hair tie and chain 1 to secure the yarn on the hair tie. To do the first step, we will single crochet all around the hair tie. You need to make sure at the end that your stitch count is a multiple of 4 because we have 4 flags, so your base needs to have a multiple of 4. Now, the little trick that I mentioned earlier in the video will come in handy. If you are worried that your hair tie will be too tight around your wrist, if you have bigger wrists, all you need to do is to crochet over the tail all the way around the hair tie. If you find that your hair tie is already comfortable around your wrist, you don't need to go all the way around on your tail, you can just do a few stitches and then you can cut it off. When you crochet all over the tail, all around the hair tie, what will happen is that when you stretch the hair tie, the tail will get stuck in between the single crochets, which will kind of create more space and it will sort of just stretch out your hair tie. So it will remain at a bigger size, if that makes sense. If you don't understand, just keep watching and you'll see what I mean. I will show you what I mean later on. Now, let's get started on the single crochets. All you need to do is put your hook under the hair tie and the tail, and you pull up a loop, like so, like that, and then you pull through both loops. Congratulations, you've just made a single crochet. Now all you need to do is just single crochet all the way around. I'm sure you get the gist, so I'll meet you in a second. Alright, so I've gone all the way around with my single crochets, and after counting, I've made sure that I have a multiple of 4. For me, I have 36 stitches around, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. So each of my flags will be 9 stitches wide. You don't have to have 36 stitches. As long as you have any number that is divisible by 4, it will work. So in the next step, you will see, I will show you how to make flags depending on if your number is even or if your number is uneven. So you'll know how to do it either way. So now all you need to do is slip stitch to the first single crochet that you made to start the row. Like so, like that, and you can chain 1. For me, I like to cut my tail because I just find it a little annoying, so you can go ahead and cut it. Now quickly, I just wanted to show you the little sizing trick that I was saying earlier. I've gone pretty much all the way around over my tail, so when I will stretch this, you will kind of see that the tail will get stuck in between all those little legs. So now I'm going to stretch it. Do you see the yarn is kind of like poking out? That's the tail. So the tail is now stuck in between the single crochets, and when I put it around my wrist, it's actually really comfortable. Like, it doesn't really feel like it's too tight, and I could even stretch it out more and it would remain even bigger. So that's Vandal's trick of the day. Congratulations! Alright, so now we're ready to start with the first flag. For me, as I said earlier, I have 36 stitches around, which means that each of my flags will be 9 stitches wide. I will start this first step by making a flag that is of an even number, and then you can skip to this timestamp to do flags that are an uneven number. Alright, so now we're ready to start with the first flag. Let's say that around your hair tie you have 40 stitches. It means that each of your flags will be 10 stitches wide because 40 divided by 4 is 10. To start with the first row of the first flag, you will do 1 single crochet in the next 10 stitches. Or if you have, let's say, if you have flags that are going to be 8 stitches long, you will do 8 stitches. So let's do our next 10 stitches. So 1 stitch, 2 single crochets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, now we will start the second row. So you can chain 1 and you will turn. Basically, the principle is really simple. You will do 1 row of single crochets and then 1 row with 1 decrease on one side and 1 decrease on the other. I will show you how to do amigurumi decreases. You don't really have to do amigurumi decreases, you can just do regular single crochet 2 together decreases if you want. I just find that the amigurumi decreases look a lot neater and there's no holes when you look at the flags. So now we've already done our first row of single crochet, so we will now do our decrease row. I always do the first and the last stitch as single crochets, and then the decreases will be like the 2 stitches before and after. So start with 1 single crochet, and now we will do the first amigurumi decrease. To do an amigurumi decrease, you will only insert your hook through the front loop of your first stitch, like so, and the back loop of your next stitch. So this is the back loop and this is the front loop. So you go through the front loop of your first stitch, and then you go through the back loop of the other. So now there should be 3 loops on your hook. So this is the loop that you already had on your hook. This should be the front loop of your first stitch that you want to decrease, and this is the back loop of the second stitch that you want to decrease. So now you will only pull through 2 of the loops. So the first 2 like this, and then pull through 2 again. So now you've done an amigurumi decrease. So now that you're done with your amigurumi decrease, you will do a single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then we'll do another amigurumi decrease and 1 single crochet at the end. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we will decrease the next 2 stitches, so we will do the same thing we just did. You insert through only the front loop of your first stitch that you want to decrease, like so, and then you insert your hook through the back loop of the next one, like so, like that. Pull up a loop and pull through 2 of the loops, and then pull through 2 again. And now you've successfully decreased 2 stitches together again. Now you can do your last single crochet, and you're done with the second row. So chain 1, and now you will do 1 single crochet across. Now we've done the third row, so we can do row 4. So chain 1, turn your work, and we will do another decrease row. So we will start with 1 single crochet, and then another amigurumi decrease, or whatever kind of increase you chose to do. Like so. And now you will do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, and then 1 single crochet. We will do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, a decrease, and 1 single crochet. Chain 1, turn your work, and do 1 row of single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work, do 1 single crochet, and now we will do 1 decrease, another decrease, and 1 single crochet, because there's no more stitches to add in between the decreases. So you do another amigurumi decrease, another amigurumi decrease, like so, like that, and then 1 single crochet. Chain 1 and turn your work. We will do another row of just single crochets. Chain 1 and turn your work. Alright, so now the pattern will change ever so slightly. We will do 2 decreases only. So insert your hook through the front loop of the first stitch, in the back loop of the second stitch, pull up a loop through 2, and then pull through 2 again. And now you'll do that again, so pull through the front loop of the first stitch, the back loop of this last stitch, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now you will chain 1, and instead of doing a row of single crochets, we will decrease the last 2 stitches together. So again, insert through the front loop and the back loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Now all you need to do is chain 1 and cut your yarn, and then you can pull through. Alright, so now you've done your first flag, so all you need to do is reattach your yarn on the next stitch and start that exact same pattern. Do it again and do it 4 times in total. Alright, so now I've just showed you how to make a flag with an even number of stitches. So now I will show you how to do a flag with an uneven number of stitches. For me, like I said a million times, I have 36 stitches around, so each of my flags is 9 stitches long. We'll start by doing 1 row of only single crochets, and then we will do 1 row with 2 decreases, 1 row of single crochets, 1 row with 2 decreases, and we will keep going until we don't have any stitches to decrease anymore. So now I have 4 flags that are 9 stitches long, so I will do 9 single crochets across. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Obviously, if you have more or less stitches, you won't be doing 9 stitches. You will do either 7 or 11 or whatever. The pattern will always work out the same way. You might just have a different number of stitches in between your decreases, but the principle is the same. So now that you've done 9 stitches, you can chain 1 and turn your work. We will do the first row of decreases. I prefer to do amigurumi decreases for this pattern because I find that the regular decreases kind of create holes and I just don't like the look of them. To do an amigurumi decrease, insert your hook through the front loop of the first stitch. So you should have 1 loop on your hook. I'm not sure if you can see very well. This is the front loop and this is the back loop right here. Now, insert your hook through the back loop only of the second stitch, like so, like that, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. So you will pull through only the first 2 loops, like so, like that, and you will pull through the last 2 loops, like so, like that. So now we will do single crochets until we have 3 stitches left on the row. So now we can do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and 3 single crochets. And we will do another amigurumi decrease. So insert through the front loop, the back loop of the second stitch, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. So now all you need to do is your last single crochet. Chain 1 and turn your work. And now we will just do a row of single crochets. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now we'll do another row of decrease, so single crochet the first stitch, amigurumi decrease in the second and the third, 1 single crochet, amigurumi decrease, and then 1 single crochet. I'm stuck. Chain 1, turn your work, and then you're gonna do just another row of single crochets. Chain 1 and turn your work. Alright, so now the pattern will change up just a little bit. We will start and finish with a decrease and we'll do 1 single crochet in the middle. So first, insert your hook through the front loop of the first stitch and through the back loop of the second stitch, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So we've done the first decrease. Do 1 single crochet and then another decrease through the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, and you'll do again 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, like so, like that. And now you'll chain 1 and we will do 1 single crochet and 1 decrease, and now you should have only 2 stitches left. So chain 1 and we will decrease these last 2 stitches together. So just so, like that. Now all you need to do is chain 1, cut your yarn and pull through. Alright, so now you've done your first flag, so all you need to do is repeat that same pattern 3 more times and you'll have 4 flags. You will insert your hook in the next single crochet, so this one has a stitch, so we will insert it right here. You will grab your yarn, create a slip knot, put the slip knot on your hook and pull it close, and then you will just chain 1 to secure, and then you'll just repeat that same pattern. Make sure you go over the tail so that you don't have to weave it in later. Alright, so now I will just finish my other 3 flags and I'll catch you later so I can show you how to do the trim. So now you should have your 4 flags, so we will cut these tails because they're just kind of annoying and so they don't get in the way. And we will use our darning needle to sew these ends back into the flag because I just think it makes it better to do the trim afterwards. Thread your yarn through your needle. And now we will sort of just kind of go through the yarn of the 2 loops. And we will just keep going down the flag to weave that tail so that it disappears and it doesn't unravel. So now, as you can see, there's like a nice rounded point and we can just cut this off. So repeat that all the way around and then we'll be ready to start the trim. Grab your accent yarn and create a slip knot. Now, you will insert your hook in between 2 flags. I like to go either in this stitch or this stitch, doesn't really change anything. I think I'll go on the one on the left. And then put your slip knot on your hook, pull tight, pull through and chain 1 to secure. For this part, we will not go over the tail, so you can just leave it and we'll come back to it later. To do the trim, we will do what I call a wavy trim. So it's very simple. It's only 1 slip stitch and then you chain 1 and then you insert your hook in the next stitch, slip stitch and chain 1. It creates this like really cute wavy effect, and on the other side, on the wrong side, it creates this sort of X pattern. And honestly, I'm obsessed with this look. So this is what we'll do. So now you've already chained 1, so chain another. So now you should have 2 chains and you will insert your hook in sort of that next space on the next row. So it's going to go in here, you slip stitch and then you chain 1. In total, we will have 8 stitches, like 8 wavy stitches on the side, and then we'll do 2 in the point and then 8 on the other side. This stitch here technically doesn't count as a wavy stitch, even though we kind of did. It doesn't matter. So this is our first wavy stitch. So now we'll do our second one. So you insert, you slip stitch, and you chain 1. And you do it again. And again. And we're at 4. Our 5th. Our 6th. Our 7th stitch and our 8th wavy stitch. So as you can see, there's like creates this like sort of zigzag, and on the wrong side it creates those X's that I mentioned earlier. Now we've gotten to the point. So in the point, what we'll do is we'll do 1 slip stitch, we'll chain 2, and then we'll slip stitch again in that same stitch. So you kind of just have to trust yourself and just insert it and it'll slide right in. And then you slip stitch, chain 2, and then you'll slip stitch right back into that same point. There you go. And now you can chain 1 and continue as you've been doing. So now we'll do the first wavy stitch, the second, the third, number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we will slip stitch in the middle over here. I believe that this is probably the slip stitch of the first row. So we will just insert our hook in there and slip stitch, and then we'll insert our hook right here so we don't chain one. Slip stitch, and then you chain one, and then, you know, you get it. Keep doing that until you reach the end, and I'll show you how to weave in your ends and also how to do the dots. I've gone all the way around with the wavy trim, but as you can see, I still have one stitch left. So I've already done my 8 wavy stitches on the side, so here I only need to do a slip stitch. So what we'll do is we'll slip stitch in this stitch, and then we will slip stitch to the first stitch, and then we'll chain one. So insert your hook over there and slip stitch, and then you slip stitch in that first stitch, like so, like that, and then you chain one, and you will cut your yarn, pull through, and ta-da! It looks a bit wonky, I know, but we will block it later on anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it looks bad. So now we will weave in the 2 ends that we left, and then we'll finish off with the dots. So here we have our 2 ends. This one on the left is the last end, and this one is the first end. So basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cross them like this. So you just thread the yarn in your needle, and then you're going to insert it and go under the top of the wavy trim. So if you stay really on the top instead of going like kind of on the back like this, you will sort of hide your tail and it won't show up on the back. So you just go like this, and as you can see, your tail is a little bit more hidden. You can still see it obviously, but it's not all that obvious. So we'll do the same thing with this tail. So we will go just kind of under there. And then you make sure you go really like on the top. Like so, like that. Pull tight. And then you can just cut them. Now you're all done with the flags. So all you need to do is the dots. Alright, so now we will make the 4 dots that we will need to sew on the flags. Frankly, they're fairly simple, but they're kind of hard to do. So don't hate me at this step. I know it's a bit tricky to do, but you will survive, I hope. Alright, so grab your yarn and we will do a magic ring. You might be familiar with like the technique that you do this and whatever. I hate that technique, so let me show you how I make a magic ring. It's really easy. A magic ring is just a loop. So all you need to create is a loop. So to do that, I hold my yarn how I would normally. I create some tension and I just grab my finger, I go under and I just twist it to create a loop like that. And then you hold it like at the junction and you have a magic ring. So you insert your hook in the magic ring, chain 1 to secure, and then chain another because the first chain doesn't count. So now you have 1 chain and you have a magic ring. Congratulations. We need to do 4 single crochets in the magic ring. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, and 4 single crochets. Alright, so now that you've done your 4 single crochets, we will slip stitch to the first single crochet. So this is kind of the reason why it's a little bit fiddly to do this part. Trust me, you'll survive, but I understand if you're struggling. So slip stitch to the first single crochet, and then you will chain 1. It's pretty easy. We'll just do 2 rows of 1 single crochet per single crochet. Do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, and 4. Congrats. All right, and now again you will slip stitch to the first single crochet like so, like that. chain one, and now just before we finish the last row, just pop that inside out because you want the tail to be like on the inside and you want to have the right side of the stitches on the outside. So just kind of like pop it. It might look a little bit like a butthole, especially mine's pink, so it looks a bit fucked. I'm sorry. All right, and you can also just cut that tail because it kind of just gets in the way at this point. All right, and then all you need to do is one more row with single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fourth one is a little bit hard sometimes to do. There you go. And the slip stitch, the last one, can be a bit tricky as well. Just make sure you're going into the right stitch. So for me, I need to slip stitch right here. Slip stitch, chain one, and you have your dot. I know it looks more like a rectangle than anything else. That's fine, we'll just pop it back later. Cut your tail, leave like a fairly long tail so that you can use it for sewing. Like so, like that. And then pull your yarn through. And now, using your darning needle, thread the tail. And what we will do is we will just sew it shut. We will go in the back loop of each single crochet. Now, I know this is like really hard to see. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you don't get it right because it's just a dot, like it's really tiny. So if you make an error, you won't be able to tell, I promise. So you go in the back loop of each stitch, kind of like threading in and out. So here we have the second back loop like that, and then you go in that third one here, and then that fourth one finally, and then you just pull it like that, and you can kind of just like pop it so that it's circular, and now you have a dot. Congrats! So make 4 in total, and we will sew them on the flag. Lovely. So thread your yarn in your needle, and then remember in each point we made 2 chains. That's where you're going to insert your needle. So you insert it like that. There's no right or wrong way to sew it really, that's just kind of how I do it. And then I flip my flag over and I kind of look where my end is. So my end is like kind of here. So I will go inside here instead, like more like on the front, like so the end is like towards me. So I'll go kind of like inside here. And I'll just go back like that. And then I go back in that hole, which leads me back out the front. And now I'm just gonna sort of insert my hook like through the loops. Like it really doesn't matter how you do this, but you need to make a knot so that it doesn't get unraveled. To make the knot, I just kind of insert my needle kind of anywhere, and you need to leave a loop like that, and then you're gonna thread that needle back into that loop, and you're gonna pull tight. So that way the yarn is not gonna unravel. It's kind of the same principle as when you chain one and you pull through. And lastly, you will take your yarn and you will insert it inside the dot, and you will pull real tight like that. And as you can see, it pulls it more like a ball than like a rectangle. And all you need to do now is cut the yarn. Well done! Now you know how to make my flag cuffs. All you need to do now is make a second one and you'll officially be a clown, so congratulations! Move along to the last step so that I can show you how to block it so that it's all nice and stretchy. Hey guys! Okay, so I'm currently editing my video and I just wanted to add a little note for the blocking section because I'm realizing that I actually didn't block my flags properly. If you watch the outro and the intro of the video, you'll notice that I'm wearing the cuffs that I made in the video, but they're not really like really all that cute. Like they're very stiff. And this was not really intentional. So I've blocked them again, and as you can see, like they are way better now that I've blocked them twice. So what I did in the video is, let me show you. In the video, I tell you to only pin the points, but you really have to pin the bottoms of each flag as well, because what ends up happening if you only block the tip is that you'll stretch the elastic and not the actual flag. You're gonna want to pin the top, like, and you really have to stretch these as much as you physically can. The more you stretch them, the more floppy they are. So stretch them out as much as you can, and you're gonna pin the bottom. I just pinned, I think, on the corners here of each flag. So there's gonna be like, I think 12 pins in total. So yeah, do that and you will have the clown cuffs of your dreams. So for the last step, you need your blocking mat, and you will need to take your clown cuff, but you need to wet it first. So I've already wetted mine. It's pretty saturated in water, and that's what you want because otherwise it won't really stretch out as nicely. So put it on your block, and grabbing your sewing pins, you'll just sort of pin the point of each flag, and you're going to stretch it quite a lot. I feel like I'm torturing it. It feels a bit horrible. So just make sure that each opposing flag is pretty much like in a straight line, like that. And make sure that each flag is stretched just about equally so that there isn't a flag that's a bit longer. And now all you need to do is leave this in the sun for like an hour or something and it'll be dry. Or, you know, just leave it until it's dry. And then you can remove the pins and you'll be ready to wear. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Now we are matching clown besties, which is really exciting. Please smash the like button, subscribe. Please do it. I beg you. And give me suggestions in the comment box for like other crochet patterns or tutorials I should do. I'm always open to suggest. So yeah, I'm just saying. Alright, see ya. Is there a beauty filter on this? I mean, I'm not mad.